Hey, my people, welcome and thank you. And once again, my people, this one breaking news. Eminent Nigerians, including former Chief of Staff Comrade Dore Epito Ikugwa, retired, former governor of Plateau State, Jonah Jang, Second Republic Senator Professor Banji Akintoye, President General of Ohaneze Ndigbo, Chief Enia Nwodo, former Vice Chairman of Arik Air, Senator Aneta Okon, Commodore Adanjigist Akanga, retired of Pandef. The leader of Middle Belt Forum, Dr. Bitrus Pogu, former Minister Professor Yusuf Turaki, and 121 others at yesterday alleged that the 1999 Constitution was skewed in favor of the North. They also petitioned the United Nations Security Council after European Union, United States, and the British government on the need to urgently convoke a sovereign national conference to discuss the constitutionality of the 1999 Constitution of Nigeria and the 1914 amalgamation of the southern and northern Nigeria within 90 days to save the people from oppression, stagnation, and cholera. The leaders said this after a meeting in Lagos. The leaders, numbering about 127, who spoke under the aegis of the Nigerian Indigenous Nationalities Alliance for Self-Determination, described the 1999 Constitution as a fraud, an impurity, hijack, and a confiscation of the sovereignties, powers, and assets of the North and Middle Belt people of the country by those who consistently designed it. The statement read, we gathered here this day as accredited delegate of the constituent component nationality of Nigeria under the aegis of Nigerian Indigenous Nationalities Alliance for Self-Determination, being a joint cooperation framework for the self-determination initiative of the southern and the middle belt of Nigeria on behalf of our various peoples and interests, to pronounce and end to our toleration of Nigerians in a unitary constitutional order, unilaterally imposed and forcefully maintained by a sanction of the Nigerian Constitution or Nigerian country in negation in the federal basis upon which Nigeria became one political union at independence in 1960, and in brutal subjugation of our collective sovereignties currently being forcefully and fraudulently appropriated by the Nigerian state. We gathered here, therefore, today before the global community to formally proclaim a sovereignty dispute in rejection of the former operation of the imposed unity constitutional arrangement of Nigeria and in assertion of our inalienable right to self-determination. The history of the colonial beginnings of Nigeria as a commercial venture of some colonial masters is too well known to admit of any further repetitions here, but suffice it to recall that the manipulations that went into the flawed foundation led in the 1914 amalgamation of the Protectorate of Southern Nigeria with the Protectorate of Northern Nigeria created a loop-sided union linking or locking the devices people of Nigeria into one political union with two not highly exposed and opposed civilizations that are the independent approach in 1960. The diversities of the various peoples of the Nigerian Union dictated and adoption of the federal constitutional model by the then three legally and largely autonomous regions, namely the eastern, western, and the northern regions of Nigeria, as the basis of entering into independence as one political union in 1960 that aimed the early strains of post-independence Nigerian arising mainly from the aforementioned fundamental and the pre-independence manipulations by the global and the colonial rules of the Nigerian Union. The military couple of 1966 truncated the federation or the federal constitutional basis of Nigeria and plugged the floating union into a catastrophic 30 months war with its breakaway eastern region between 1967 and 1970, triggered by disputations around the terms of the Nigerian Union and living in its tri-human carnage in excess of 3 million people, and a fractured union now resting on an unknowable unitary constitutional order imposed in 1979 by the fiat of the illicit federal government, which emerged since the 1966 collapse of the Federation of Nigeria, forcefully hijacking and confiscating the sovereignties of the constituent component regions of Nigeria that federated their sovereignties as at 1960. That the prevailing 1999 constitution of the Nigeria, which was a whole sole adoption of the 1979 edition via decree number 24 of 1999, reviewed or revalidated and reinforced the aforementioned hijacked and confiscation of the sovereignties, the powers and assets of the four erstwhile federating regions by the aforementioned illicit federal government of Nigeria, which by degree fractured the four regions into 36 states that are completely emasculated by a 68-term federal executive legislative list that comprehensively strips the federating states of all key economic assets and the governmental powers, thereby creating a totality and a totally dysfunctional, corruption-prone over centralized system that has failed in every respect, manifesting in gross insecurity, discarded infrastructure, and many impervasiveness, such as Nigeria with its vast human and material resources endowment has now emerged as the poverty capacity of the world as well as the global leading example of a failed state. There is a countrywide consensus against the unitary constitutional arrangement imposed incrementally on Nigeria, and by a combination of gold, brute force, and the impunity between Asata 1966 and 1999, now confirmed by the 1999 Constitution. This countrywide constituted and the consensus had manifested in several unilateral, regional, and joint multi-regional actions in repudiation and rejection of the unitary 1999 Constitution of Nigeria. The first indication was when, in year 2000, the 12 contiguous states of the far north stigmatously imposed and began to implement Sharia in their three domains against the express provision of the 1999 Constitution, which in Section 10 forbids the adoption of any state region. This translates to a unilateral cessation from the secular Union of Nigeria. Between 2005 and 2006, a sovereign conference of the ethnic nationalists of Nigeria convened by the Pro-National Conference Organization known as PRONOCO deliberated exhaustively and proceed a draft People's Constitution as of 2006, which had the potential of restoring Nigeria to its damaged federal foundation. Meanwhile, through ignored by sensitive federal government in Nigeria, that draft became the new federating constitutions and federating consensus against the prevailing unitary constitution order in Nigeria. It is pertinent to note that across all the region of Nigeria, various socio-cultural and ethnic interest vanguard organizations have also been vehement in expressing the constitutional grievance of their own people, some even violently. Those on the Yoruba side, we have the Afenifere and the Yoruba Elders Council, known as YCE, Agbagoye, the Yoruba Liberation Comrade, YWC, and many more, including the Idlana Omo Odua, which now aggregates several Yoruba self-determination initiatives across the world. In the eastern part of Nigeria, the eastern part of southern Nigeria, we have Ohanese movement for the for the survival of the Ija ethnic nationality in the Niger Delta. Ijao National Conference, known as INC, Ijaw Youth Council, Pacific Midwest Movement, the Niger Delta People's Venture amended mass sub IPOB others in the Middle Belt. We have the Middle Belt Forum, MBC, Sokapo, Komnefeda, and many others. Several notable statements in Nigeria, including General Olusegun Obasanjo and Yakubu Gowon, both former heads of state, have lent their voices to the urgent imperative of the fundamental reworking of the damaged constitutional basis of Nigeria, warning that any further delay may lead to the catastrophic collapse of the distressed Nigerian Union. Nigerian former Deputy Minister, Left General Theophilus Danjuma, retired, had also urged the indigenous people of Nigeria facing the ethnic cleansing onslaught of the murderous invaders to defend themselves and their land in the face of various coalition of the federal government of Nigeria and its armed forces with the Fulani invaders. In the aftermath of the October 2022 NSAS protest, many, including the Nigerian Christian Elders Forum, known as NCEF, now insist that Nigeria needs to be reoriented and reorganized on specific constitutional grievance touching on the sovereignties of the constituent component of the Federation of Nigeria. The leaders that the claim in the preamble to the 1999 Constitution, I beg your pardon, what we, the people's family, and solemnly resolved to live in one political union, and that we ignited and gave ourselves in 1999 Constitution is self-evidence, false as the degree number 24 of 1999, by which the so-called 1999 Constitution was promulgated, outlined step by step. The process by which the author of the 1999 Constitution, the Armed Forces Provisional Ruling Council, came about the document it labeled the 1999 Constitution. This is a criminal usurpation of the sovereignties of the constituent component whose exclusive right it is to make for themselves the constitution by which they will federate and be governed as an independent of their sovereignty. Meanwhile, even by the admission of the 1999 Constitution, as at Section 14, subsection 2, a sovereignty belongs to the people, from whom government, through his constitution, derive all its powers and authority. This is the 14th form, which all constitutional agencies grew, and there is no other rename or there's no other remedy to this particular grievance than an autonomous process by which the constituent components will submit their peoples and their lands into a union, and also stipulate the terms of that union to be ratified by referendum and plebiscites. Alright, my good people, we are calling it a day from here. As it stands now, a lot of people and a lot of things have said about this as breaking news emerged as eminent Nigerians, including former chief of staff and Comrado Ebitu and so many other people. They have also petitioned the United Nations Security Council, African Union, European Union, United States, and the British government on the need to urgently convoke a sovereign national conference to discuss the constitutionality of the 1999 Constitution of Nigeria and the 1914 amalgamation of the northern and southern Nigeria into 19 days to save the people from oppression, stigmatization, and squander. Alright, let me have your take onto this, my good people. Remember to send it and then tap on the subscription button for more update. Thank you and God bless you.